Introducing our newest product, the perfect solution for your everyday car needs. Designed with all the well-cleaning needs, the Driver's Essential Pack offers unmatched benefits for your day of needs. See you at our next event on July 11th, 2026. Link in the description of this video. Most of the content on this channel revolves around car meets, cruises, and car shows. But today, we're checking out a different side of automotive culture at Ventura Raceway. On June 13th, 2026, Brandon, Ralph, and I, NikkiPursuit, made our way to Ventura Raceway to experience a night of dirt track racing. While the vehicles may be different from what we usually cover, the passion behind them is very much the same. From the drivers and crews to the fans filling the grandstands, this is another corner of car culture that brings people together through a shared love of motorsports. So let's head inside and see what Ventura Raceway is all about. While car meets celebrate the cars we drive, places like Ventura Raceway celebrate machines built purely for competition. Located within the Ventura County Fairgrounds at Seaside Park, Ventura Raceway occupies one of the most unique motorsports venues in California. Just steps away from the Pacific Ocean, the track sits on fairgrounds whose history stretches back more than 150 years. The Ventura County Fair itself dates back to 1874, originally beginning as a harvest festival celebrating the region's agricultural roots. Over the decades, the fair moved between several locations before finding its permanent home along Ventura's coastline. Thanks to a generous land donation by Eugene and Orpha Foster in the early 1900s, Seaside Park became a permanent gathering place for Ventura County residents. The grounds themselves have witnessed tremendous history. During World War II, the federal government took control of the property and transformed it into a coastal defense installation designed to protect Southern California from potential attack. Following the war, the fairgrounds returned to public use and eventually evolved into the community destination we know today. Today, Ventura Raceway continues that tradition of bringing people together. Surrounded by ocean air, grandstands, and decades of local history, it remains one of the few racetracks in the country where fans can watch dirt track racing with the Pacific Ocean just beyond the horizon. To understand Ventura Raceway, it helps to understand the history of dirt track racing itself. Long before modern speedways and television broadcasts, some of America's earliest races took place on dirt surfaces. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, many communities already had horse racing tracks and fairground ovals. As automobiles became more popular, racers began using those same facilities to test the limits of these new machines. By the 1920s and 1930s, dirt racing had exploded in popularity throughout rural America. Organizations such as the International Motor Contest Association helped establish rules and structure, turning what had once been informal competitions into organized sporting events. Following World War II, dirt racing entered a golden age. Returning veterans applied their mechanical skills to race cars built from salvaged vehicles and spare parts. What started as inexpensive entertainment quickly grew into a nationwide motorsports culture. Specialized divisions such as sprint cars, midgets, modifieds, and stock cars began emerging, each developing its own identity and loyal fan base. Even NASCAR's earliest stars raced on dirt tracks. Before superspeedways became the norm, dirt ovals served as the proving grounds for many future legends. In fact, Richard Petty won the final NASCAR Cup Series race held on dirt in 1970. Today, while technology has transformed racing vehicles, the core experience remains remarkably similar. Drivers still battle changing track conditions, fans still fill the grandstands, and local communities still gather around the excitement of dirt racing, just as they have for generations. Ventura Raceway also represents something increasingly rare in Southern California. For decades, Southern California was one of the most important regions in American motorsports. Legendary venues like Ascot Speedway, Riverside International Raceway, Saugus Speedway, and numerous local dirt tracks helped launch careers and shape racing culture throughout the 20th century. Unfortunately, many of those facilities no longer exist. Population growth, rising land values, and redevelopment projects gradually replaced racetracks with housing developments, shopping centers, and commercial properties. As a result, active grassroots facilities have become increasingly important. Tracks like Ventura Raceway preserve a style of racing that has deep roots in both California and American automotive history. For local racers, it's an opportunity to compete close to home. For longtime fans, it's a connection to decades of racing tradition. And for newcomers like many attending tonight, it's a chance to experience a form of motorsport that remains every bit as exciting as it was generations ago. In a region that has lost so many historic tracks, Ventura Raceway continues carrying that torch, keeping grassroots dirt track racing alive right here in Ventura County. Weekly racing has been a cornerstone of American motorsports for nearly a century. What began as informal competitions on rural dirt tracks gradually evolved into organized weekend events that brought entire communities together. After World War II, local racetracks started appearing across the country, giving returning veterans and automotive enthusiasts a place to showcase their driving skills and mechanical knowledge. By the 1950s and 1960s, Saturday night racing had become a tradition in many towns. Families packed the grandstands, local businesses sponsored drivers, and racers spent all week preparing for a few hours under the lights. The atmosphere wasn't just about winning races, it was about community pride, friendly rivalries, and bringing people together. That same tradition continues here at Ventura Raceway. Every race night connects today's drivers and fans to generations of racers who helped build grassroots motorsports into what it is today. Places like Ventura Raceway represent an important piece of American automotive history. Over the years, countless racetracks across the country have closed due to development, rising costs, and changing land use priorities. Every time a track disappears, a portion of motorsports history disappears with it. Ventura Raceway continues to provide a home for grassroots competition while introducing new generations to a style of racing that predates many modern motorsports series. The sounds, smells, and excitement found here are experiences that can't be fully replicated through television or social media. For longtime fans, it serves as a reminder of racing's roots. For newcomers, it's an introduction to a world that has inspired drivers and enthusiasts for more than 100 years. As long as tracks like this continue operating, the legacy of grassroots dirt racing will remain alive for future generations. As the racing continued throughout the night, one thing that kept everything running safely was a system that's been around for more than a century: racing flags. Long before race control could communicate through radios, computers, and digital displays, flagmen were responsible for relaying critical information to drivers at speed. In fact, motorsports borrowed many of its flag signals from the railroad and maritime industries during the early 1900s, creating a universal language that racers still use today. The most recognizable flag is the green flag, signaling the start of the race or the restart after a caution period. Once that green flag waves, drivers are free to race at full speed. If something happens on the track, officials display the yellow flag. This caution flag warns drivers of danger ahead, whether it's a spun-out car, debris, or an accident. A waving yellow flag means the hazard is immediate and drivers need to be prepared to react. If conditions become too dangerous to continue, race control throws the red flag. This completely stops the race and brings the field under control until the issue can be resolved. Of course, every driver is chasing the checkered flag. While its exact origins are debated, photographic evidence shows it being used in American motorsports as early as 1906. Today, it remains the universal symbol that the race has officially concluded. Other flags serve specialized purposes. A blue flag alerts slower drivers that a faster car is approaching from behind. A black flag calls a specific driver to the pits, often due to a penalty or rules infraction. The black flag with an orange circle, often called the meatball flag, warns a driver that their vehicle has a mechanical issue and needs immediate attention. Even in today's era of LED boards, digital dashboards, and instant communication, these traditional flags remain one of the most important safety tools in motorsports. More than 100 years after they were first adopted, drivers still rely on the same colors and signals to keep racing safe and competitive. One unique part of Ventura Raceway that many first-time visitors may not realize is that there are opportunities to experience the pit area up close. While we didn't explore the pits during this visit, the pit area offers a completely different perspective on race day. Instead of simply watching cars circle the track, you're able to see the work that happens behind the scenes to make racing possible. Historically, the pit area was once a much more informal place. During the 1950s and 1960s, drivers often worked on their own cars alongside family members and friends. Mechanics doubled as crew chiefs, drivers and transporters, creating a hands-on atmosphere where everyone played multiple roles. As racing evolved, so did the pits. Teams became more specialized, pit stops became carefully choreographed, and crews began treating race preparation almost like a professional sport. What was once a collection of toolboxes and spare parts eventually transformed into a highly organized operation focused on speed, efficiency, and performance. Today, the pits remain one of the most fascinating parts of motorsports culture. Between races, crews inspect tires, make suspension adjustments, repair damage, and prepare cars for the next green flag. It's a side of racing many casual fans never get to see. For anyone planning a future visit to Ventura Raceway, experiencing the pit area can provide an entirely different appreciation for the sport. It highlights the teamwork, preparation, and countless hours of work that happen long before the cars ever take the track. One thing that makes Ventura Raceway unique is the variety of racing divisions that compete throughout the season. While they all race on the same dirt oval, each class is built with a completely different purpose in mind. At the top of the ladder are the IMCA Modifieds. These purpose-built dirt racing machines feature open wheels, lightweight fabricated bodies, specialized racing suspensions, and powerful engines designed specifically for competition. They're among the fastest and most technologically advanced divisions you'll see at the track. A step below are the IMCA Sport Mods. They look similar to the Modifieds, but are designed to be more affordable for racers. Using more production-based components and tighter regulations, they provide competitive racing while helping keep costs under control. Then, there are the VRA Dwarf cars. These unique machines resemble miniature versions of classic American coupes from the 1920s through the 1940s. Despite their small size, they're powered by motorcycle engines and can be surprisingly quick around a short track, often producing some of the closest racing of the night. The hobby stock division brings racing back to its grassroots roots. These full-bodied cars begin life as ordinary production vehicles before being transformed into race cars with roll cages, racing seats, and safety equipment. Their stock appearance makes them relatable to fans, while their competitive racing keeps the grandstands entertained. For those who enjoy compact imports, the West Coast Sport Compacts provide an affordable entry point into motorsports. Featuring mostly factory-based front-wheel drive cars, these racers prove that exciting competition doesn't require massive horsepower. And then there's the Demolition Derby, which is a completely different type of event altogether. Instead of racing laps, drivers intentionally crash into one another in a battle of survival until only one vehicle remains operational. It's chaotic, unpredictable, and has become one of the most popular forms of motorsport entertainment for fans of all ages. If watching cars smash into each other sounds like your kind of fun, Ventura Raceway is scheduled to host a Demolition Derby on July 11th, 2026. It's one of the biggest spectator attractions of the season and offers a very different experience compared to traditional dirt track racing. Whether you prefer precision driving, wheel-to-wheel competition, or all-out automotive destruction, Ventura Raceway offers a little bit of everything throughout the racing season. I found myself thinking about throughout the night was how different this experience is compared to the car meets and car shows I usually attend. At a car meet, everything is a little more relaxed. You can take your time walking around, checking out the details of each build, talking with owners, and learning the stories behind the vehicles. Whether it's a classic car, a modified import, or a custom truck, the focus is often on the craftsmanship, personalization, and the community that surrounds it. A raceway, on the other hand, offers a completely different atmosphere. Instead of cars sitting still, they're doing exactly what they were built to do. The focus shifts from appearance to performance. The engines are louder, the pace is faster, and every lap brings a new challenge for both the drivers and their machines. You can feel the competition, the adrenaline, and the intensity from the moment the green flag drops. At car meets, you're admiring the finished product. At the raceway, you're watching the product get pushed to its limits. But despite those differences, both experiences are connected by the same thing: passion. Whether someone spends months restoring a classic, building a custom show car, modifying a daily driver, or preparing a race car for competition, it all comes from a love of automobiles. In the end, car meets and raceways aren't competing against each other. They're simply two different sides of the same automotive passion. There were a few things that genuinely surprised me about experiencing Ventura Raceway in person. The first was just how close the fans are to the action. Watching racing on YouTube or television is one thing, but standing only a short distance from the track is completely different. You can actually feel the vibrations from the engines, hear the dirt being thrown into the air, and experience every lap in a way that simply doesn't translate through a screen. The second thing was the sound. Even knowing race cars are loud, nothing really prepares you for hearing them in person. The roar of the engines echoes throughout the fairgrounds, and when an entire field charges into the first corner together, it's impossible not to pay attention. Another surprise was how much faster dirt racing feels in real life. Watching from the grandstands, the cars appear to fly around the oval while constantly searching for grip. Seeing drivers slide through corners at speed while battling side by side creates a level of excitement that's difficult to appreciate until you're actually there. I was also impressed by how much work happens between races. While fans are enjoying the action in the stands, crews are busy making adjustments, checking tires, repairing damage, and preparing for the next race. It's easy to focus on the drivers, but there's an entire team working behind the scenes to keep each car competitive throughout the night. And perhaps the biggest surprise of all was how family-oriented the environment felt. From longtime fans and racing veterans to parents bringing their kids out for a night at the track, the atmosphere was welcoming and community-focused. Despite the intensity on the track, off the track, it felt like a gathering of people brought together by a shared passion for motorsports. Those were some of the things that stood out to me most, and honestly, they're the kinds of experiences that make visiting a raceway so different from any other automotive event. One thing that's easy to overlook from the grandstands is just how different these race cars are from the vehicles we drive every day. Unlike a street car that's designed to balance comfort, fuel economy, safety, technology, and styling, race cars at Ventura Raceway are built with one purpose in mind: speed. Every component, every adjustment, and every design choice exists to help the driver get around the track as quickly as possible. Many of these dirt track cars feature open wheel designs, meaning the tires are completely exposed rather than hidden beneath fenders. Their lightweight chassis are constructed from high-strength chromoly steel tubing, creating a protective cage around the driver while keeping overall weight incredibly low. Some race cars weigh around 1,400 pounds, less than half the weight of many modern passenger vehicles. For winged divisions, aerodynamics play a huge role. Those massive aluminum wings mounted above the cars aren't there for appearance. They generate tremendous downforce, forcing the car into the racing surface and creating additional traction. The harder the car pushes into the dirt, the faster drivers can attack the corners. Smaller wings mounted near the front axle help keep the front tires planted as well. The engines themselves are equally impressive. Many racing engines produce between 900 and 1,000 horsepower while running on methanol fuel. Combined with their lightweight construction, these machines have a power-to-weight ratio that rivals or even exceeds some of the world's most exotic supercars and hypercars. Even the tires are engineered specifically for dirt racing. The right rear tire is intentionally larger than the left rear tire, creating what's known as stagger. This size difference naturally encourages the car to turn left around the oval. Add in ultra-low tire pressures and specialized beadlock wheels, and the entire setup is optimized for maximum grip on loose dirt. It's a fascinating reminder that while many of us spend time modifying street cars for performance, these race cars take that philosophy to the extreme. Nothing is added that doesn't make the car faster, lighter, safer, or more competitive. They're not built for comfort, they're not built for daily driving, they're built solely to race. So, would I come back to Ventura Raceway? Absolutely. As someone who spends a lot of time covering car meets, cruises, museums, and automotive events throughout Ventura County and Southern California, this was a completely different experience. Instead of polished show cars sitting in parking lots, you're watching purpose-built race cars battle door to door on a dirt oval just a few feet away from the grandstands. What surprised me most was how family-friendly the atmosphere felt. You had longtime racing fans, first-time visitors, parents with kids, and local racing teams all sharing the same space. It felt less like a major sporting event and more like a community tradition that's been passed down through generations. And honestly, raceways like Ventura Raceway are becoming harder and harder to find. Southern California has lost many legendary tracks over the years to development and changing times. Places that once hosted weekly racing are now shopping centers, warehouses, and housing developments. That's what makes venues like Ventura Raceway so important. They're keeping a piece of local motorsports history alive for future generations. As for value, I found it to be a solid night out. Special event pricing varies depending on the show, with many major events offering grandstand admission around the $45 to $50 range for adults, discounted student tickets, and free admission for younger children with a paid adult ticket. Some events also offer pit access upgrades for fans wanting a closer look behind the scenes. Prices and event details can vary throughout the season, though, so it's always best to check the official schedule before attending. If you're a car enthusiast in Ventura County and you've only experienced car shows, cars and coffee events, or local cruises, I definitely recommend checking out Ventura Raceway at least once. It's a completely different side of automotive culture. And before making the trip, be sure to check the schedule because different nights feature different racing divisions, special events, and visiting series. One weekend might feature sprint cars, another might feature modifieds, dwarf cars, hobby stocks, or even a demolition derby. For me, it was a great way to experience a side of the automotive world I don't normally cover. And if supporting local motorsports means helping keep places like Ventura Raceway around for years to come, that's something worth getting behind. Until the next adventure, this is NikkiPursuit, and I'll see you at the next event.